We don't have a clippy thingy.
Yeah.
Oh, that was it. That was the bring it on. Hey, welcome. It is the best of 5. My name is Brian Gary. I am absolutely thrilled to be sitting in the studio with my buddy G, with Chris. We're going to hang out. We're going to talk about crap that I have no idea what's going to be going down today, which I'm ready for.
That was the greatest intro this episode has ever had. Hey, do you just want to take this over? You can totally have this podcast.
You can have best of 5.
Okay, I'll take it. Absolutely.
You can take the mics. You can take the beer.
Take the Jameson.
Whoa. Let's simmer down on the beer.
No,
okay?
we're keeping the Jameson.
Oh, okay. That's a good.
You seemed a little over gracious to start with. Yeah, that was. You're ready to give right away. I love it.
Well, welcome you guys to Best of 5. That was the greatest intro ever. Thank you so much, Ryan.
I'm, proud. The bar must have been pretty damn low, boys.
Yo,
it's really bad. It's really bad.
So we have Brian Gary, one of the Northern Colorado radio legend. This is probably the best way I can put this. And please, if I offend you, just let me know.
I will. Yeah.
Dang it, it's gonna be a rough one. Thank you so much for joining us, man.
No, this is fun, man. I've known Chris
since I've been born. I'm pretty sure
since you were. Yes,
I think you worked with my mom in radio since either like the late '80s, if not early '90s.
It was the late '80s. Yeah, it was back in the late '80s. So yeah, I've been around for your entire life. Gee, I just got the pleasure of meeting within the last year or so. Yeah. But already we've been in some very uncomfortable situations together.
Perfect.
Yeah, so
even recently, man. We won't mention what it is, but
no. But let me just say, I was glad you were there for me, and I was glad I was there for you.
I was pissed you left early, man. That's where I was like, yo, what the fuck, man?
No, dude, seriously, because I hung as long as I could. Look, I heard Banana Pancakes. I liked that. I'm listening to all the tunes you're pumping out, and I'm going, dude, it's 100 degrees. I'm in the middle of a freaking parking lot. It's asphalt. There's no shade anywhere. Later, bro.
I'm out.
Yeah,
I'm
that
out.
was it.
He's like, I'm going to say something out, right? I'm like, okay, I'll just fuck me. It's fine.
I'll be by myself. Well, I guess on that we should move into round 1. Huh?
Yeah. But before I wanted to, what are you expecting? How are you feeling about this? How are you feeling about just being on this podcast? And all that
I
fun stuff?
love the unknown. I did radio with no script
we'll stay on,
for
just
all
letting
that.
you know.
Yeah. No. Oh, well, shit.
Well, I'm out.
No, I'm out. That was it.
So it's just specify with you guys.
All right, that's it.
I'm out too.
I thought it was a clothing optional event here today, but there is still a city ordinance where I cannot be shirtless within the city limits of Greeley.
Right.
I can't mow my lawn without my shirt on, anything. 30 pounds. I'm 30 pounds away from being able to go shirtless.
Okay, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
And I'll celebrate with y'all.
Perfect.
All right, that'll be great.
Shirtless mowing lawns. Let's do it. All right, well, let's move on to the first subject. I'm so excited. Hope you're enjoying this, man.
I look forward to seeing what the hell's going on, man.
All right.
Round 1.
So again, as this works, you guys, we had our special guest pick something from the wonderful hat, and then we're just gonna talk about it for 7 minutes, and it's gonna be nice and easy. It's gonna be good. So what do we have for the first subject?
Well, it is English is stupid. All right. What are your thoughts? You want to go first, Chris?
This is Chris's idea too.
So, this was one of your topics?
Not even coming from the bilingual guy who learned English second. It's just like
that's right.
The words don't make sense. They're same words that mean different things that are spelled different. Like, everyone goes to like there, and there.
Right.
It's just like, all right, come on, guys. Let's just make either one word for everything, or let's make separate words that mean separate things. That's what English is. And it's not even the spelling aspect of it. It's the grammatical aspect of it.
It's also the spelling aspect of it. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah, it's very stupid. I agree.
No, spelling is absolutely ridiculous. How in the hell are you supposed to teach a kid how to learn how to spell fish, phonic, phone, all with the same damn sound with all different things? Let's just take, for example, the moron who changed the spelling of Jeff to Geoff.
I think
I'm
you
sorry.
blamed the French on that one.
Is that where it came from?
I think so.
All right. Well, the French are assholes because that should have never happened.
Cheers.
I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't know how loose the rules were here.
No, the French are assholes.
Okay. All right.
We all know that.
Well, because it's some of their words that crept in here. Croissant.
Yeah.
It's fun to say, but really, how the hell are you supposed to know how to spell that one?
Yeah.
What's the what was George Bush's thing? Was there's no French word for entrepreneur.
That's pretty good.
No, what's funny is I think the American English is probably the worst because it's the one language that has multiple
bastardized
cultures.
for sure. It's a combination of just people who came here because America was the melting pot. So it's just combination of all these different cultures that just put stuff together. And it's like, oh, let's name this river the Rio Grande. And it's like, okay.
Doesn't quite fit, but we'll go with it.
it's like
yeah.
that
So we're naming the river Big River?
So
The Grand River.
Oh, the Grand River.
Grand
yeah.
River.
Yeah.
it's a good point, though, that it's a hodgepodge of everything that's come in. So you get the slang, you get everything from everywhere else coming in, and we basically make up words.
Yeah.
And then I think the spelling ends up sticking. I mean, seriously, ketchup, catch-up.
Yeah.
There's another. What the hell is the actual difference? There
For
isn't
real.
one.
Yeah,
It's just
exactly.
the way somebody
I
says it.
think one's made with cats, right?
Yeah, that's probably correct.
I'm out.
But
I'm
let's
good.
go with the word like Worcestershire.
Oh, yeah.
Where's your sister sauce?
Yeah.
That's it.
That's what I call it.
Yeah. That's pretty good. I remember I had a trivia question one time, and all it said
I'm using that.
was spell Worcestershire. And I don't think anyone got it right.
You're a horse sister. Wait,
Horse-
no, that's not what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
No, I used to live in Austin, and there's a small little town or city town, it's a town that was called Pflugerville. And then, like, the way you spell it, you're like, I don't know how to say that. And people are like, oh, it's Pflugerville. And it's because it was a very German populated area in Texas. And I'm like, see, this is why we're all fucked. This is so stupid.
Yeah, was that next to Guadalupe or what?
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty
that's
much.
or Kearney or Kearney
Oh,
or whatever
yeah.
the hell.
Oh, yeah.
Manchac.
Going to Lyman. I was like, you mean Limon? They're like,
Limon.
no, it's Lyman. Like, oh, okay.
I think that one's French technically, so
Could be.
maybe.
Could be.
Le Mans.
Still blame the French because they're assholes.
They're assholes.
Exactly, and I think that's going to be the theme of
Unless
the
you're
show
listening to
is
this,
that we get back. No, and and if you happen to be of French descent who loves us, we love you. It's the rest of you who are assholes.
Yeah, it's the
all
ones
right.
not
Yeah, it's
listening.
not you.
Yeah.
You're fine, Francois. You're all right. No,
Yeah, you're
but
great. You're
Yeah, but
great.
Jacques, you can go fuck yourself.
That's right. Hey, but as far the English language, get more into it, just the words, crazy. But when you can seriously, when you think now about the shit you had to learn in school about English,
Yeah.
do you know what an adverb? The pronoun, what is the, this of the sentence, what's the
Adjective.
subject,
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
this?
Shit.
Do you remember any of that stuff?
Nope. I remember proper nouns, and that's about it.
I feel like I remember it, but I can never explain it.
Yeah. I
You know
guess
what I
that,
mean?
yeah,
That's
kinda
a
makes
way
sense.
of lying and saying you don't remember it, really.
Fuck,
I mean,
yeah.
that's, absolutely. No,
This is why we Brian
I,
Gary's a fact checker of our bullshit.
No,
Yeah,
that
right.
was
I
like
it.
the most political answer that you could ever have. No, it's an alternate fact.
No, no,
that's
it's-
it.
okay.
That's it.
You're fake news, G.
So what I mean by that is like I try my best to like speak grammar well. See, I had to think about that one for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like I wouldn't be able to explain to you like what is what for the most part, right?
It's just because we grew up with English, we just know what it's supposed to sound like, but we don't know why it's supposed to sound
It's
like
the same
that.
with the same with Spanish when it's like, oh, what's like the subjective aspect of this? I'm like, I did AP Spanish, got a 4, didn't ever win a class.
I took Spanish in high school, and my name was El Grande.
Yeah.
Which I kind of liked.
We're bringing it back, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're here with El Grande.
Brian El Grande Gary.
It's gonna stick.
Sounds like a
It
stripper.
is.
Good.
But one of I think another way we're getting really stupid with the English language is ever since the advent of social media and
yeah.
character limits on Twitter and everything else.
That's fair.
That the I probably instead of probably,
yeah,
what
yeah.
is now being accepted, and people just actually freaking talk that way.
Yeah.
LOL.
kind of.
I love LOL.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, and LOL doesn't mean shit. You insult me if you send me LOL.
Yeah.
because
Right?
I know
It's
that's
just like
just
you
a, like,
read it, like,
I just offended Brian Garrett before he even got on the show.
Oh, did you send me an LOL? Did you really?
More than likely, man. I use that thing like it's
He-
funny.
But I
He
felt
LOLs
like,
all the time.
I felt like you meant it.
Oh, I
Yeah.
did. Yeah,
Yeah.
I laugh out loud a lot, quite a bit, especially
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. that's
Instead of
very true.
laughing, instead of actually laughing, I'm just gonna be like, lol.
Lol.
Don't you think though that English, should we have to relearn it as it changes? Because this thing's changing. Well, I just know generation to generation. I will sit and listen. The guys I work with. Well, how old are you, Chris?
33.
33. All right, and you're
I'm 31.
31.
still
All
say
right.
that.
So working with some dudes who are in their 20s, and they'll be dropping language that I'll say something, they'll all start laughing at it and turn their heads, and I'm like, oh shit, the meaning of that word has changed now?
yeah.
I had no idea. Look, just because I said I'm a cuddly bear didn't mean anything dirty. That was
I know exactly what that means.
I can say that
So did
multiple
I. I was
ways.
baiting. I was baiting.
El Grande over here.
Yeah, right.
El
Got us.
Grande.
Got us.
El Grande Furry.
I think, New Halloween costume for Brian Gary. I
There
love
you go.
it.
There you go.
I think the
That's
biggest.
why he really keeps his shirt on.
Yeah, yeah. It's just furry, but yeah, underneath it. He has like a
discovered.
layer that always just he always wears. No, I think the biggest thing about not even just like language, but I think just our generation's kind of like intertwining now more than ever, just because of social media. I think it's just tolerance towards just understanding that language changes, and I think it's got to be on both sides because we definitely don't do that. Where it's just like, oh, on fleek. I'm just like, okay, sure, that's fine.
Yeah, my brother. That's time.
That was time, by the way.
But my brother is going to be 40, I don't know, 46 or something. And he came to like a family trip or whatever. And he was saying stuff like bussin'. And he's like, that slaps. I'm like, dog, I'm too old for that. Like, you're way too old for that.
That slaps. I love it. Well, let us know what you guys think about the English language. We think it's shit.
Yeah,
That's the consensus, I think. We
I
can all
believe
agree
so,
with.
and that
All right.
transfers in any language. What you just said, yes.
Well, there you go. The French are assholes and English sucks. So
Yeah.
we hit all bases.
Amen to that. End of chapter 1.
Let's move on to round 2.
Moving on.
Round 2.
I'm just a dude, man. Just fucking talk to me.
Damn, that's a good way to go into this next subject. This second subject for this beautiful podcast is going to be favorite video games. And by the way, that shot is hitting me already.
Is it really
Yeah,
the
I haven't
Jameson?
ate breakfast, so that's going to we'll have to take one after this for sure.
Well, let me join you.
All right. So favorite video games. I think this is actually be kind of cool because we've all kind of experienced video games in probably different eras,
Absolutely.
and even different genres that we
Yeah, so even though like
so.
G and I are relatively the same age, he didn't start playing video games till later in his life. As he always says on the podcast, he grew up too poor to have video games. So
He's not
I'm
wrong.
sure there's a lot of truth to that.
He
No,
brings
absolutely.
it up more. He brings it up more than I do, by the way. So just
because I'm just saving the whole spiel again.
so yeah,
by
when I
saying
was
it first.
so when I was younger, no, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna go. If you've seen our podcast, you know exactly what I'm
Yeah,
talking
knows
about. But,
exactly, yeah.
Brian Gary, let's start with you. What are some? Also, do you want me to just call you Brian or Brian Gary or?
You can call me whatever the hell you want.
El
man.
Grande.
Just call me
El
Brian. El
Grande.
Grande.
El Grande. I better write
That
this
works
down.
too.
El
That does
Grande.
too.
Grande also.
I took a trip to Mexico, and the tour guide asked, I was wearing a big orange Bronco shirt, and he said, "What's your name?" And I said, "They call me El Grande." So then for the rest of the trip, I was that dude, man. Absolutely. All right, but as far as video games, I was there at the very beginning of this, man.
Okay.
We had when I was a kid initially, we had ball, we had stick, we had vacant lot. That's what you played with. And then I remember one day, Dad came home with this little yellow box, man. It was a little box, and it just had a couple of knobs on it, and it hooked up to our TV, and you got 2 little line segments. On one
Some
end, it was
virtual
called
sticks.
Pong. Yeah.
Pong, dude.
Yeah. And you each got one of those little line segments on the side that you could dial up like you
yeah.
can with one of them Etch-a-Sketches. So you'd move that up, and the whole goal just going back and forth. Then they called it hockey if you each got 2 line segments.
Yeah.
And then you'd try to play that. But then me and my brother would sit there and try to get it so that dot would just go back and forth.
Without
And
moving.
without moving the paddle. And then he
That's
just
something
walked
I would
away, and
totally
it's
do.
like that was 2 hours of fun, man.
Yeah, right.
So that
going?
Oh, seriously, but we thought we were like on top of the world. We were one of the first ones to get that, and then came, I think it was Atari was probably the next one that rolled in.
Yeah, I think so.
Then in television seemed to be the really cool thing. There were a lot of people who were into this, which had some cool games. But honestly, the game changer was Nintendo.
NES, man.
Yep.
The original NES, playing some of those original games of Mario Brothers, The Legend of Zelda. I would
yeah.
sit up endlessly and do that. Obviously, as a sports fan, Tecmo Bowl
I remember
Bowl.
Tecmo
was
Bowl.
the most.
Skip Bo Jackson and
Oh,
just
that's
get
it.
done,
You know,
dude.
you get Bo Jackson, or if you got Lawrence Taylor on defense, if you
right.
got Barry Sanders, there was nothing you could do. You
Yeah.
could not defend against that. And I remember there was one of my favorite games was there was one that was the Olympic Games on the
I
original
remember
Nintendo.
that, yep.
Do you? Where the hockey, where like the Czechoslovakian team were just 4 little fat guys.
Yep.
They were just little chubbies. Well, they weren't that. That's a different game. They were little chubs just skating around on the
Yeah,
ice. But that was that Pitfall. That was
Yeah, I
another
remember
one,
that
man.
one too.
People my age will remember playing that and trying to get to the next level. But dude, if I hit the arcade, the original pinball machines, my fantasy still, not to take this whole segment, but my fantasy still
like this.
is to have the original Kiss pinball machine.
I've seen that somewhere.
Yeah.
recently.
Is it at Stella's?
It might be at Stella's.
Is it really the original? Because they've
I
done
don't know.
reissues
I don't know if it's the
throughout the
original or
years.
not, but they might have a Kiss one.
That-
I'll have to inquire
You
on
know
that and
what?
get back to you.
I think
but-
they used to be at Luna's, and I think they probably moved down to Stella's.
Okay, yeah.
Did they really?
I'll have to double check, but
I
Don't
may
quote
have.
me on
I've
that.
been in that arcade, and I think I may have seen one, but I think it was of a newer model of the
okay,
Kiss.
okay.
It's got computers in it. Fuck that.
Yeah,
But that used to be, it was playing the Kiss pinball machine, and there was one called Matahari.
Okay.
Was another one that I remember those two so vividly. But if I hit the arcade, get the hell out of the way. I'm hitting that Asteroids machine, that original
Yeah.
triangle that vomited out little line segments shooting out at these globs coming at you, man.
Right.
That was so cool. And playing Centipede was another one.
Centipede was by far my favorite.
You know,
game.
when you get that one
Yeah.
area and you could just start firing and you found that right spot
And
where you're
just
nailing
killed
them mushrooms.
everybody,
Everybody
as
that
it
was
just
going
came all the
by,
way
man.
down, yeah.
That's the crazy thing about it, man, is that like, I mean, we think games are complicated now.
Yeah.
I bet you a lot of people who play these games couldn't play those games and do it well.
Yeah.
Because it's just like a different type of different way of thinking of like how to kind of do these games, right?
Yeah, we had 2 buttons to get everything done. You see, I get
yeah.
really complicated. It gets confusing to me with everything that's on a controller right
Yeah, like
now.
14
What would
buttons
you
now.
say is like the last console you used?
Definitely.
Or like the last game that you played like a
Oh,
lot.
I tried to play Fortnite with my grandkids.
Nice.
Okay,
Fuck,
and I
yeah.
went in because I knew this was so popular and all that, and the kids just love to play. So I thought, let me sit down and give this a try.
Yeah.
So I take the controls, have no fucking idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, I get caught by some power force that's changing my color. I thought I was doing fine. I was just wandering through town, killing shit when I ran upon it, and then all of a sudden I couldn't kill anything anymore, and I'm trapped by a van getting like frozen or something, and the game's
yeah,
over.
I have no idea what's going on
it-
here.
No, it took me like, I think it only lasted like 30 some seconds. You know, there was all this buildup, boom, it was over. A lot like my honeymoon. But this was.
We share that in common, man.
Never gonna forget that one. But what's really cool about this, bringing up the topic, is you just hear me get lit up. When
That's
I get to
dope.
talk about
Yeah,
those
yeah,
old
yeah.
games, and you're gonna find that with any generation from my generation on,
Yeah.
is gonna have that relatability that takes you back to that place and time.
Yeah.
I don't think
exactly.
I don't think I've ever talked to someone who's actually like lived through that, but also has described it as well as you have. If that makes any sense, I mean,
No.
because it's one of those things that like people think of like the older generation. I'm sorry, you're
No, I accept that completely. And I'll gladly
this
be
is
that
all out of
dude,
respect,
man.
I promise.
No.
But just that idea that they don't like, because I'm slowly starting to like not understand like video games because they're getting too complex for me. It's just a matter of like I just kind of slowly stopped playing them.
Mm-hmm.
But just seeing someone that was there from the beginning to understand like I've seen the entire evolution of what video games have gone to what it is now.
Yeah.
And I think that conversation itself is like really worth just even having with someone,
Yeah, because I had my older brothers were so much older than me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had an Atari, I had a Nintendo, and then I had the Super Nintendo, and they were like in high school when the Super Nintendo came out, and I was, I don't know, 6 or 7 or
Yeah,
something,
yeah.
playing like Super Mario Brothers, not knowing what the hell I'm doing. I'm just like, oh look, he's jumping it. Oh, there's a dinosaur to ride. That's cool.
See, and that's me because everyone in Mexico had video games before I did. So like all my cousins had them over there, but they would be like a generation behind, like
Okay.
console wise.
Sure.
So the NES was like the first system I played when like Nintendo 64 was out. So we like loved Super Mario Brothers, like all those things. I never got into what is it? Zelda. Zelda was one that I never got
Oh,
into, but
dude, that's-
It was kind of it was a mind fuck in a way.
Yeah. Because it's like the first like
RPG,
open world adventure
yeah.
RPG. Yeah,
That's a really good way of describing it.
like
'cause
I can go anywhere I want.
it was so different than any other game. There was a thinking involved with it. It tested your brain in a different way than any of the other games did. That I think made it so that was a sit up all nighter.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially because you can save shit, right?
Back
could
then
you?
you could.
Oh,
Now,
okay, yeah.
Like,
And then I remember when Madden hit. I mean, of course, I was absolutely all over it, being a football fanatic.
Yeah.
And I can remember many nights when I first had my kids, and I knew my son was going to be up crying at night, or it was my duty to watch him, it was, I'm going to start a season of Madden.
That's awesome,
you know,
man.
and you would just start a season and you would just sit there and play through it. You had a companion, man.
Yep.
I mean, you really did. And now with today's technology, I can only dream about what it was like to get to play with my brother. You know, if he were somewhere else, and that everybody gets to do that now, kind of mind blowing.
Yeah, I remember when that first came out, like the internet, like playing with the consoles. Blew my freaking mind.
Everyone's,
man. That was wild.
I remember the first time I played like an online game like with someone like across, you know, like, or hey, let's all get together and play a game. It's super ridiculous. We did break the rules because we totally went over.
Sorry, man.
That is time. No, that's okay.
That was time by a lot.
Here's the thing: is the hardest part about this show is that sometimes when you're into a really good conversation, it's just like cutting it through. But there's a reason why we have DVD extras, is because we can always talk about that stuff afterwards, which is what we'll do after this initial show. So let us know what you guys think about your favorite video games.
I'm a rule breaker. This crap's going to happen.
El Grande took over, and we were totally cool with that, man. It's all good. So let's move on to the third subject, and we'll see where that goes.
Yeah.
Round 3.
All right, Chris. Third subject. Ryan Gary, thank you so much for joining us, man. This is really fun.
Oh, thank you guys. It's a pleasure. Thanks for letting me hang with you guys.
It's kind of like hanging out with someone you're just like, oh, they're really good at this. We need to step up our game. That's kind of what I'm feeling right now. But it's not a threat, I promise. It's more of like oh fuck yeah, this is like
because
it's a huge compliment, man.
Yeah, we did another podcast with another radio personality. I think you know her, Sadie.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. She's kind of just did the same thing. It's like, oh, I'm used to talking. I can talk about whatever for whatever. Yeah. So
and we're like,
God, we need to get better at talking.
Fuck.
There were many times I thought I was going to end up being paired with her, and that we would end up working together, because I worked with her mother for so long. But then there was just lots of times where it was proposed and just didn't fall through, where it was going to be the two of us.
Well, maybe we should just get them both on our podcast, and then that could be your guys' audition tape. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Then you can start your own radio. That sounds terrible.
Your own podcast. I've never done that.
I think we need to get Sadie and Brian Gary a podcast. That's what needs to happen.
Okay.
No FCC. Oh my god, that'd be so fucking good.
Yeah, it would be pretty good. All right, anyway, the actual subject.
It's just called What the Fuck.
Yeah. The actual subject, are movies dying?
Oh, I'm excited for this one.
Dying?
So this is my idea. And the reason why I'm saying that is because nowadays we have so many. Well, for one, the pandemic really, really put a bump into everything.
Oh, it really did.
And full disclosure, me and Chris, and you guys should know this for sure, is that we are huge movie guys. We love
I'm
movies.
a movie freak, so this is going to be great. Yeah.
And so the biggest thing that we saw was that because of theatrical releases, a lot of studios went back to just going straight release like through streaming platforms, which is not necessarily bad, but I think because there's so many of them, it's all about quantity over quality.
Yeah. I think Netflix is the king of quantity over quality, because some Netflix movies that come out have huge name actors in it. Like I just watched The Day Shift the other day.
I did too.
With Jamie Foxx, and I was like, oh, it's going to be like, a little campy vampire movie. It was actually not bad. And I was like, okay, cool. This is like a really fun, like comedy kind of horror movie.
Right.
Like, okay, awesome. But then you have other movies that they produce that have no names in it, and you're like, okay, this is going to suck. And they're actually really good too. And then all of a sudden, you're like on this huge streak of like, wow, Netflix is doing a great job.
And then they go to
and then they
shit
cancel
so
like your
bad.
favorite show's second season before the first season's even released. And you're just like, you sons of bitches. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, I don't know. I love movie theaters. I don't know about you, but
Oh, I always have. There's a romanticism to it. There's a way the film's supposed to be done. You know, it's very similar to me when somebody watches it on a small screen or, streams it. It's like I used to get pissed off when somebody would create a musical project and they'd send it to me, and the only way I could hear it was through a computer speaker. What a fucking insult to the producer and everybody who got into it, because you're missing the huge aspect of that sound. I feel the same thing happens when it comes to a movie. Now, some are made that it's just fine to go on a small screen with them. You know, it doesn't need the production, but you get some that are really theater pieces. That you're missing an element if you don't get totally engulfed in the sound where you can actually feel a movie if you're in the audience.
So since we started this like company, like I've gotten G way more into audio.
It makes the movie.
So that's I guess like one thing that I kind of want to just bring up and ask you a little bit more about this. But like I think Okay, so I guess I should just ask you this. You think the evolution of watching cinema or just appreciating cinema has changed a lot? Because we never talk about necessarily the audio producers or the visual effects for that, man. Like we're so we're so just used to watching it. I feel like we've gone to a point where when it comes to movies, all we care about is the storyline and who's in it. And we dismiss the audio production, like it's not like as if it's easy just to like record everything, or it's not like, oh, the boom mic is like what's actually being said. Like there's so much more that goes into it. Foliage, lighting,
foliage.
like there's
It's foliage.
Oh, sorry,
Foliage is trees.
Shut up. They're still in it, okay? You can find good trees. There's someone that needs to find good trees, okay? But there's it takes like 200 people, maybe more, to make one movie, especially a blockbuster movie, and we never like appreciate the audio quality, or like especially like I never really understood like what the fuck does 7 point or surround sound or whatever, you know what I mean?
No, you got to be a movie buff. You've got to, when you appreciate film, you can appreciate everything that goes into it. Just like a foodie is going to be appreciative of the spice, the marinade, whatever goes into it. Somebody who really knows food is going to know that. The average person isn't going to, and that's the majority of the public. The average music listener isn't going to pick up on some great production, or that, wow, that was really a good guitar fill, or the sequencing on this album really made sense and made the project come to home. That's where those of us who love the art, who love to get into it, are going to see and appreciate that. I would like to see more and more. I think the advent of home theater and the sound makes somebody realize that you need to rewatch a movie. Because there were many of them. When I got surround sound, I rewatched my whole damn library. It was like getting a color TV compared to black and white. Because all of a sudden I saw it and heard an element of the film that was so missing without it. Now, when you go back and watch old films, they may be great stories, there may be great acting, but there's something missing, and you feel that you feel the time stamp on it, because production and the music that goes behind it has become so more integral in the making of a movie.
Now, do you think that you think that's decreased throughout time? Because I feel like
appreciation of it,
just the appreciation of everything when it comes to film.
I would say yes.
Because it's kind of like I feel like it's like that's what's happened with music. Like at first, you would buy an album because you're like, the expectation for the person making that album was, from front to back, it has to be good. Side B has to be unique, as more unique as side A. Like there was like a thought process that goes into it. Now it's just kind of like, throw it out there and see what's what works.
So I would say yes, because it's the convenience factor of like you can watch whatever movie you want. Like movies weren't made to be watched on a cell phone with a speaker. But people do it all the time.
And I love that theaters actually like promote that. It's like, don't watch on this shitty ass fucking screen. Watch on this big screen.
But it goes the same thing with music. It's like, people had to buy their record, and like even CDs, the audio quality wasn't that bad because there's just so much data they put on it. But then they took the CDs and they compressed them to MP3s, and then they compressed them even further to put them on like Spotify and streaming platforms. So now like you have all this cool shit that just gets squished into small little megabits, and that's how people consume media, and they don't see it as it should be, so they miss everything.
On the music track of that, it comes down to me that when you start processing and perfecting, you lose the beauty of the art. Some of the greatest guitar riffs and the greatest vocals are not technically perfect. They're flawed, and that's what makes them stand out. There's something about that gives it the blood, the soul, that makes it stand out.
Absolutely.
And that's why I like records so much, because my record doesn't sound the same as his record. They might be the exact same record.
And I think,
but mine, like, this part, like, I have this extra crackle that, like, distorts the guitar, and it makes it just, like, come out even more in that, like, part that needs to,
And you can feel that from the music production in a movie, how much it adds to a scene, that sound.
And kind of going back to, like, the final question, since we have a few seconds left, is just that idea of, like, I wrote this down because I do feel like that movies itself are dying, because I think the platform is now more like with TV shows, because TV shows have a budget to make what a movie looked like maybe like 10 years ago. You know what I mean?
I think you're right.
And so the expectation's a little bit more, but honestly, there's something beautiful about.
So it's like you have like 10 hours of a TV or of a movie instead of like a 2.5 hour.
And there's something beautiful about like movies that can tell a story within a 2-3 hour frame.
Amen to that.
Favorite movie as of late?
As of late? Boy, that's a tough. Actually, I just saw a movie that just moved me so much. It was called "Don't Make Me Go."
Okay.
And that one right now is on Amazon Prime, I believe.
Okay.
And it stars the guy who was in The Walking Dead.
Andrew Lincoln?
No, Jonathan Cho.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
And
yeah.
he makes his daughter go on a road trip where she doesn't want to go, but the story will rip your heart out.
That's the straight goofy movie. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, it's a fantastic.
Yes,
Did
it
you
is.
see it?
Oh my god,
I've
no.
not, but that's the premise of the Goofy movie.
Yeah, like the Disney Goofy movie. Yeah, and you're exactly right.
It is, but it's unexpectedly heart ripping.
Yeah. Oh man.
How about? I need to watch it. How about you,
Yeah.
Chris?
I haven't watched any like really good movies because I've been in just protest of so many theatrical releases are just like money grabs. Like I went to see the Top Gun out of just pure spite because
it's
there's
so
like
good.
but that's where I was like, there's no way this movie's that fucking good.
so
And then
good.
we watched it in IMAX. I'm like, holy shit!
It is that
great-
fucking
This
good.
movie is that fucking
That's the, only,
good.
that's the only way to watch it.
Yeah,
for sure.
and
So
then
I will
I've just
agree with you.
been just been out. It's like pissed since then. I was
So
like,
I
damn
was-
it, I watched a good movie.
I will agree with you on that one because Top Gun itself, like I love Tom Cruise because Tom Cruise is like, listen, this movie might not make storyline, might not make sense, but cinematically it's gonna be beautiful. Like
Right.
Yeah.
like he chose his venue of just like, I don't care what the story is, like let's just make this
the
look.
story was just like an 80s movie storyline.
But it
that's like
worked so
a bunch of
well,
shit
yeah.
happens
Oh, so
and
good.
then the main like drama point has nothing to do with what you just watched.
It's a beautiful movie.
Yeah.
I also watched Anything Everywhere All at Once.
Ooh, I want to watch that.
I've watched only like the first half of it.
Oh, yeah,
And like, cause Heather was falling asleep, my wife was falling asleep, and I was like, all right, I need to watch because she wants to watch it as well. She's like, I'm just too tired. I was like, all right, we'll rent it again. We'll finish it. You know,
Yeah.
it's a really good.
No, I need to see that. And I did
need to
see
see
the
that one,
Elvis
too.
movie as well, which, being an Elvis freak, I could not wait to see this movie.
Is it good?
Boz Luhrmann, who put it together, has a very different way of his quirkiness. It's kind of a sideshow mentality feel
okay.
of what
Yeah,
he
yeah.
creates. And some people think it's great. It was a work of art. To me, it was the worst thing Tom Hanks has ever done. And I don't know. I don't know if
really
it's
messed up.
because
Yeah.
he sucked or because he was so good at it. I hated his character. I hated him in the movie, and I can't tell whether that is because he was bad or he was so
played that character so
good
well.
Yeah.
that he made me hate it.
Oh man.
That's good. All right, well, let's move on to the next subject. If let us know what you guys think of what movies features are. I think that would be
That's
really interested to hear about. So, moving on to the next subject. Yeah.
Round 4.
All right, you guys, we're on the fourth subject. Brian Gary, thank you so much for joining us again. I'm going to thank you as much as I can because honestly, man, this is really fun. It's nice to like,
Yeah.
it's nice to have a conversation that even if it gets stuck, we have like that person that can actually help us like bring it back to something that's interesting.
Well, you guys are great, man. I'm having a fantastic time, and I appreciate you bringing me in. man.
Absolutely. Now, before we continue, we would love to give our listeners where they can listen to you because honestly, they might like you more than they like us, and if they can move to your channel, like that's a win for us.
There's
as well,
room
so.
for all of us, man. I'm back on the morning shows. I used to do a morning show for 30 years, and now I'm back at it. I am at 103.1 and 1310 KFKA.
Shout out to Brady Hole, by the way.
Yes, yeah. Brady Hull, my buddy, he does the Hull show from 11 until 2. But me and my partner, Tanner Schwint, team up every weekday morning from 6 until 10. 4 hours of live talk every weekday morning. It's called Good Morning NoCo. Having a blast. And thanks for giving me the opportunity
Yeah,
to let
man.
people know. But check it out. What we are is people from different generations. I'm an old hippie. He's a young farm boy. And you put those two
funny.
things together
Yeah.
with different backgrounds, with different thoughts about what's going on in the world, and it shows the two people can have a good conversation about stuff and still love each other when it's over.
As it should be.
And
Yeah.
that's what it's all about.
And this is like super new too, right? You guys started like maybe like 2 months ago.
Just about 2 months ago, but man, it's
Yeah.
taken off just beautifully. The buzz is fantastic, and I couldn't be happier.
And that is
That's good.
NoCo mornings or morning.
Good morning,
Good
NoCo.
morning, NoCo.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm really bad at
absolutely.
remembering things.
Oh,
by the
dude,
way.
you know how many times I've messed it up saying it on the air after being a good morning guy for that
Yeah,
many years
yep,
to go
yep.
to good morning. Good
morning,
Good morning. Hey, what's up?
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Was really good, bitch.
That's right.
That's what. I gotta ask you about. Okay, so DVD actors, I'm gonna ask you about radio because I have to ask you about that just because it's awesome. Just like how many times you really want to cuss but you can't, kind of thing. Anyways, we'll talk about that later.
What's the fourth topic for us
The
today?
fourth topic. I'm super excited for this one. It's called Elevator Pitch. And I think we're gonna kind of start like a semi mini series in between our podcast of like elevator pitches of like different things. But the original elevator pitch is always a movie idea.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So you want to explain an elevator pitch to our fantastic viewers real quick? What it is?
So imagine you're like in LA or Hollywood or whatever you want to say.
You're in downtown Greeley and you run into Guillermo Storga.
No, you run into like,
and you want to pitch him the greatest idea you have.
You run into like Tarantino or like a Nolan or like all these guys, and you're just like, oh my god, do I have a pitch for you? Maybe executive producers.
And the best way to talk to somebody is trapping them in the elevator, so they literally can't leave.
Yeah, or in a urinal.
Yep, that too.
That's
that
another
too.
one too. But you got to really quick there.
But anyway, so the premise is that you walk into an elevator with someone you're trying to sell your idea to and see if they'll hire you. So you have 60 seconds to pitch an idea.
I'll go first. All right.
Okay.
So, guys are there. All right, so picture this. There's two guys working in a bar that's about to close down, right? And all of a sudden this guy comes in and we're like, hey, it's closed. Like, no, I'm just here for a quick shot. I'll be fine. This guy, walks in. He looks like he's very like, just no one special, right? No one in particular. He sits down. You're just like, man, this guy's like way too old to be out here like at 2 a.m, like, or 1:30 or whatever. What is he doing? You give him a shot. He takes. He's like, all right, well, thanks so much. You guys start talking a little bit as you're closing down, and out of nowhere, this guy comes like these like guys come out and they're just like, hey, Emilio, we're looking for you, and it's just like, what? And so all of a sudden, like there's like a huge shootout, and Emilio just pulls out like these fucking gats, starts shooting these dudes, right? And it's like you're the bartender, and there's another guy who's working security. And all of a sudden, this, like, Emilio takes these guys down. He's like, you guys need to come with me now. And they're like, oh, my God, okay. He's like, don't worry about this. Like, someone will clean it up.
Come with me if you want to live.
And then out of nowhere, there's a bartender and security guy who are on this, like, adventure with this, like, guy you didn't know he was a gangster. And it's like it's like Pineapple Express, but with, like, really weird cast. So, like, Gabriel Iglesias is, like, the kingpin.
Yeah.
who's like this guy.
Yeah, okay.
Fluffy kingpin.
And it's like the bartender is just like some random think like Michael Cera character that's like in this like realm of like trying to clear his name because he was in the wrong place, wrong time. And I just picture this being at the Jaeger. Like everything's down at the Jaeger. And
Yeah,
it's just
the
like
basement bar.
Yeah, and it's Spencer and me, like would be like the cast, but we can find someone who can
be the gangster.
Yeah, or no, just the bartender, security guy.
Oh, yeah.
And Fluffy's the gangster that walked into this door.
Gotcha.
That's my pitch.
How does it end?
Yeah. What's it called?
Oh my God, that's
That's how you sell them, dude. What's it called?
It's called Downstairs Mayhem. That's a terrible name. That sounds more like a video game.
Yeah, I'm
Downstairs
passing.
Mayhem
I'm passing
sounds
on
like Wednesday nights at the house.
Got him.
The way it ends, everyone dies.
Everyone's dead.
Just like The Departed. Okay.
Dude, I love those kind of endings, by the way. But yeah, all right.
So I had this idea when gas was getting absolutely ridiculous, right? These hometown like wannabe like bad guys are like, yo, I have this great plan. Let's steal a gasoline truck and then sell it, for cheap. We'll make so much money because, it's all stolen goods. So they go to this gas station. They plan it out.
Like heist and crime shit.
Yeah, they plan it out, right? They're like, cool. The truck comes like every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Perfect. We'll do this. We'll do that. We'll do this. Then all of a sudden, Wednesday 8 p.m. comes. The truck doesn't show up for whatever reason. They're sitting there and they're just like, oh man, did we miss our time window? What happened? Then all of a sudden, they see a truck pull out from around the back of the building. And they're like, oh, that must be it. Let's get it. So boom, they jack this truck, throw the guy on the ground, tie him up. They just leave him, boom, and then take off to the next city.
Is it milk?
They take off to the next city, right? No big deal. And they're like, all right, let's go. They stole a septic truck. and they try to sell it. So they like plan it out with this crime boss. They're like, hey, we're stealing this gas for you. Give us a cut. Then they deliver a shit truck. So then that boss is like, yo, get those shit boys. Right? Picture it.
Get those shit boys.
Get those shit boys.
I like those.
Is that what it's called?
Is that what it's called? Shit boys?
It's called shit boys.
That's what
I wish it was milk instead.
Yeah, but that's not funny.
That would have been hilarious.
Milk
funny.
Boys has a ring to it.
And then they started dairy.
Yeah.
And it turned out the gangster was lactose intolerant, got pissed and machine gunned them all down.
There you go.
Boom.
There you go.
And he still sells the milk because milk is really expensive.
It really was.
Milk boys or shit boys. I think we have two good ideas right now, dude.
I know. I like shit boys.
I do like shit boys.
Shit inherently has no value.
No, that's Strong point. I like the name. It's going to catch on. The marketing could be absolutely incredible for it.
Just like, get your crap together this summer.
Shit's about to go down.
Boom.
Boom. Done.
Boom. Absolutely. I like that.
Shit just hit the fan.
See, there you go.
Oh, this is
See, there's
terrible.
so many puns. So good.
It is. Okay, the
Your
potential's
idea is
great
way
there.
better than mine, yeah.
All right, here we go. All right, now this is going to get out of the realm, going romantic comedy.
Okay. Ooh,
Okay.
Nice way
I'm
to
in.
switch
Got
it
a
up, way to
rom-com
switch it up.
idea. All right, there's a guy, and he's been in love with his girlfriend forever. All right, she's waiting for him to propose. They know at some point, that they're going to get married was the thought, all along, that someday he's going to do that. And they've talked about it forever, whatnot. And she keeps bugging him about it, whatever. So they go about their lives and everything. And then, one evening he goes, hey, let's go to a baseball game. So takes her out on a date. They go out to the ballpark. They're there. He's sitting there with his girlfriend, Julie. His name's Kevin. All right, it's Kevin and Julie.
Ooh, okay.
Kevin and Julie are sitting there in the stands. They're just hanging out the game. All of a sudden on the scoreboard comes up, hey, Julie, will you marry me, Kevin? And she looks up at it and goes nuts. And she's like, yes, jumps in his lap. And he's kind of giggling, looking up, going, fuck. And then a few sections over, you see another Kevin and Julie, who it was actually the ones who had put it up there. Yet he goes on with this facade all these years, and they've been married for all this time, and it ended up being just a fuck up on the Jumbotron, and they go through their marriage, and then at some point, 10, 15 years into it, they have that night where they've been drinking, they get in a fight, and he goes, well, you were never the fucking Julie on the Jumbotron, and then they go through all that, go through the, the build the relationship back, all that, here it's stronger than ever, and that kind of thing.
Okay.
But
That's
I'm
solid.
picturing like a Jimmy Fallon, Drew Barrymore type of situation.
Fast Pitch is what it's called, right?
Was there a movie like that?
Yeah.
Where they were
No.
together at a ballpark or
But
something?
yeah, they were together at a ballpark. But
Okay,
I
but
don't remember
none
what
of
it exactly
none
was.
of that went down.
No,
but
I
I've
think
always
it was
had
like
this
sort of
thought.
would go on dates or something like that. Yeah.
But it's characters like that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I'm not casting it, but they would be two that would work in that situation.
Yeah, like that awkward, like kind of handsome, nerdy guy that's too weird to say no.
And
Yes.
at the end,
He's like, that's not okay.
Yeah.
and then you
I
end it
meant
with
that
the
all
twist where she kills the guy.
Yeah, okay, I like that because he was one of the shit boys.
Yeah.
He was the shit
boys. Ah, boom.
There it
She was
is.
also at the bar where there was my idea sucks. I'm sorry.
That's it. No.
And that was tough. Thank God, because I was doing myself in a hole there.
Your idea was fine.
The
It
title was just
it's
shit.
yeah, the title was just shit.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's just, think of the shirts, man. Just be like, yo, I'm a shit boy. Boom.
Oh no,
Dude,
seriously.
the merch, bro. The merch.
People will want that. People
Yeah.
be proud to be a shit boy.
Dude,
Exactly.
Milk Boy though would be just as good. So we have two.
Yeah, but
possibilities
there's
there.
like, I don't know, some weird subtlety under that.
Exactly.
It's
No, I
weird.
think both would work. I think there would be a sector that would be all over Milk Boy, and then I think there'd be another one that would
The
be all
sequel.
over Shit Boy.
Yeah, the
Sequel
sequel
is
is the
Milk
Milk
Boy.
Boy.
It starts off the same exact way, but instead of a shit truck, it's a milk truck. We got a trilogy now. We just need to find
Yeah,
out.
we just need to find the third.
The
Stay
third-
tuned for the thrilling conclusion of the Milk Shit Boys.
The third one is they're trying to steal a milk truck, but they steal a gas truck instead.
The Fuel Boys. No, that
And it's
doesn't
like
work out.
everything's
Gas
electric,
Boy.
and they're like, "Fuck."
Okay, now that's good.
Yeah, so it's the future.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
And
That'd
call
be
them the
good.
Gas Boys.
Yeah. I'll be in charge of titles.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I'll leave that with Chris.
The Ethanol
Hey, he
Boys.
got Shit Boys.
Yeah, let's-
Nobody's going to get over that.
Let's move on.
Final round, yeah, final round.
Final
We're shit boys right now.
Yeah,
with
we're straight shit boys right now.
round.
El Grande, thank you so much for joining us for this
Yes, thank you.
wonderful,
Thank you again.
wonderful podcast. It's been so much fun.
Absolutely.
It's definitely going to be longer than an hour, and we're totally okay with that. That's We're here for a good time, not a long time, but a long time today, which is still a good time.
I have a tendency to break rules, and I'm never going to quit doing that.
Don't do
Right.
that. Yeah, don't
no,
stop, man.
No, can't.
The last subject, like I said, as tradition is for our special guests, is we have them choose the last subject. We talk about it for 10 minutes, and then we kind of just go from there. It might be more than 10 minutes, because, I mean, so far,
Yeah,
We're
we've
doing
been
great with the 7, so
Yeah.
you know.
All right.
That'll be great.
Yeah,
breaking the
sure.
rules just a little bit.
What's the final subject?
Man, dude, I have been torn between two, as you told me that I would be presenting a topic for the final one.
The second one we'll just put in the hat. We'll talk about it later.
Okay, well, I'm very, very, music is my life, man.
Okay.
You know, so I like to delve into that a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, and I was debating between the most overrated artists of all time.
I think that's actually in our hat too.
Is it really?
I have so many ideas on that.
Okay,
there's
that one, or there was Stranded on an Island. Take 5
haven't done
albums
that one
with
either.
you.
Yeah.
What are you taking?
We've talked about that subject like in private
Have you?
multiple times.
But we never, yeah.
But we argued with each other like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
5 albums.
So it's up to you.
Deserted Island.
5 albums or 5 things?
5
albums.
albums.
5 albums.
Yep.
Okay. So it's up to you. Do you want to do the overrated or the 5 albums?
Ooh, I like them both. Let's do the overrated.
Okay.
Overrated. All right.
All right, let's go
5 albums
overrated.
going to go into the.
All right, so I'm gonna start off with a banger.
Go
Most
ahead.
overrated band, The Beatles.
You know what's really funny, Chris?
We actually talked about this on your radio show.
We did.
We totally talked about this on your radio show.
And I totally agree.
Finally,
I totally agree.
I got one person.
No, you
I
do.
would agree with you.
Yeah,
No.
you don't count.
Here's the thing. In the history of music, historically, as far as being able to shape the sound, have an impact, all that, Beatles earn it, absolutely.
Yeah.
What they did in a short period of time was incredible. But the key to me there is in a short period of time.
Yeah.
Now, the early Beatles
Bars.
were incredible.
Okay.
The early Beatles, the poppy stuff.
It was all new.
Where they got it. It was new.
They changed
it
the
was
game.
groundbreaking.
Yeah.
It was new. The Beatles got into themselves and artsy too much to the point where it lost its ability to relate to the people who were
man,
listening
you
See,
just
to
said
it.
something-
that's
holy shit.
exactly my point. Like the Beatles got to a point in their popularity where they could literally record themselves taking a shit
And
on a
it'd be
record,
masterpiece.
Yes.
and then they called it Yellow Submarine.
No.
Got
Boom. No, and I can't argue that. People call the White Album one of the greatest albums
It's
of all
shit,
time.
dude.
It's a piece of shit.
I would say
I'm
Abbey
sorry.
Road is a better album than White and Sgt. Pepper's.
Yeah, I like Abbey Road is probably my favorite because it's the least just like annoying to me.
Okay, so sorry.
No,
this is
go,
something I
man.
need- I
This
need to
is a
put on-
good topic.
I need to put on record this because I think I've never heard it said that way. You said that they became so artistic that they didn't relate to what the people were doing.
Yeah.
And I think as people who work in media, specifically, who are supposed to be overall, we're just people pleasers. That's exactly what we
Yes.
are, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
You
That's
hit it,
like 90% of our job.
yeah, you hit it on the nail by saying they got too artistic that they forgot about the audience.
They did. They separated themselves from the audience.
And there is supposed to be a risk. If you want to change the game, there has to be a risk on that, right? But you should always have a target as to saying this is going to be a risk, but it's going to benefit this audience as well. And I think you're absolutely right. The Beatles just went, oh, fuck it, we're just going to do what we want because we're the fucking Beatles, you know? Like Lennon,
Spot on impression.
that was like
Of
all
an
the-
impression
that was like all
of an
them,
impression.
right?
Hello, Paul. I think we should just fuck with the public.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
like, I
let's
think
do that.
Lennon-
Ringo, be a walrus. That'll be
Yeah,
funny.
I think I think Lennon was probably the worst at that. I think
Yeah.
Paul understood, like, knew like how to write.
Well,
this
have
is
you heard
this is
Yoko's
talking
album?
shit about?
Have
Like,
you heard Yoko's album that Lennon produced?
is it just her yelling?
Yeah,
I
she's
can't
a
fucking
screaming
stand
monkey.
Yoko.
She's
Fucking
a screaming monkey.
weird.
It is
Yeah.
the worst thing ever created, which was a shame because, in all honesty, like when you watch the Get Back on Disney, you know, they did the
That's really
documentary. on the
good.
fascinating, fantastic, and it
Yeah.
shows the genius of McCartney and Lennon. I mean, it really does. There was genius there, but they lost their way in my mind.
Yeah, yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
in my mind. And I'm not.
Well, what's that saying? There's a fine line between genius and insanity.
Yes.
Kanye.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
didn't even see the genius side of that. Yeah, as far as him.
Okay, hip hop wise, he at the first few albums he had was genius work. He did
Was-
really good
okay.
work with hip hop, and then he just he went to the Lennon phase of things. You know what
When
I mean?
you take yourself too seriously, and another example of this that would be on the list to me, Jim Morrison was incredibly guilty of this with the Doors.
I never liked the Doors.
The Doors are one of the most overrated.
That's like the second controversial like band that I always
Fuck
say
the Doors,
fucking
dude.
sucks.
No, I think
They
the
fucking
Doors
suck, yeah.
I can't stand it. There's a couple songs that you know, but you sing along to, but I'd never request the
They
damn
don't have a bass
things.
player, so they could fuck off.
That's why he hates the White Stripes.
I've never been mad at them for that, but I am now.
Yeah.
You know, but I always felt same boat there, that they were another
just don't
one
get
that
'em.
was just, I don't.
I don't
Like,
either.
I think the only exception I can see with like someone that went like too far in their art, but it was still good, was probably like Pink Floyd, because they went more in the sense of like
And there's another one for me.
Not
Not
a
a
big
fan
Yeah.
at all. It was just too freaking weird.
you know what made up for that was their production.
But no
that's
question
true. I
about
agree with that.
I have no doubt
They're
about that.
fucking weird.
No, dude, I was tripping one time and I put the wall on and I pulled over to just sit in the woods alone on the hood of my car.
I thought you were like at home.
No. I'm telling you, I was tripping. All right, I was tripping, and I'm on because there's no way I'm driving because I'm tripping, and the wall is cranked up inside of my car. And you talk about making a bad trip worse. That was horrible. So I'm mad at Pink Floyd for that night.
That's fair.
You know, that was.
So yeah, Pink Floyd.
Absolutely fair.
Pink Floyd is probably one of my favorite bands of all time, but I will not listen to anything post Wall. Wall is the oldest album from Pink Floyd I will ever
Do
listen
you like
to.
the early stuff with Sid Barnett?
So I like their first album that came out, Piper at the Gates of Dawn, because I
Okay.
was like, oh, this is weird and trippy, cool.
Yeah.
And then you could just hear them progressively get more like poppy when they hired David Gilmour to it, and I'm like, oh, cool, this is like more entertaining to listen to because it's, you know, you have a lot of like themes that go with David Gilmour's guitar playing.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why I grasp onto it. It's like, oh, this is a very like classical composer type of guitar solo writing. So if you listen to any of his like Shine On like guitar solos, he teases like various different solos within the next solo, and that's why like whatever number 7 is the greatest part of Shine On, because he puts all of those previous solos together in that final solo. That's
Okay.
why I like David Gilmour for Pink Floyd. But once Roger Waters left Pink Floyd and it was David Gilmour's band, it has not been good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really know the order of Floyd. I just got into them recently, so like recently as like the 2-3 years, but I just don't know like the order
Yeah.
of things.
I
But
got-
Well, they have the greatest poster of all time that every teenage boy needs in their bedroom.
I think they have some of the
the
greatest.
back catalog.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And I think to their credit,
no, I
think-
understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
I think what made Floyd successful more than anything was the fact that they knew how to market themselves, but also again the production value of like whoever they had producing that. I don't know their name. I'm sorry about that. But
No, but
I can't
you know,
remember.
brilliance when you can have an album that has the record for being on the charts for
Mm-hmm.
about 10 years
Yeah.
plus, Dark Side of the Moon. No,
It's
landmark
like
stuff.
715 consecutive weeks or something.
We'll never deny their legendary status. I've just
Yeah.
never been a fan.
no, and that's a good audiophilist. What would you call them? Someone who listens to audiophile, right? Yeah,
Audiophile is more headphone guys, but
or just like someone who's really into
like,
music.
like
It's
a
just
musicologist.
there you go.
There we go. We'll call
A
it that.
music sewer.
Yeah.
Sewer.
Like a
Music sewer.
connoisseur of
Yeah.
music.
A
Yeah, all right.
music sewer. Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
I'm not going to try it because I'll let you sound like an idiot.
Music lay.
Yeah.
Anyways, no. So I mean, but I that's what I appreciate about it. Like I'm trying to get better about just like not liking music, but not like being like fuck that. Although there is a lot of shitty fucking music out there. But
Oh,
no,
dude,
there is.
there's more shitty music.
with
than
that
good
being
music.
said, who are artists that you see nowadays, and we'll talk about the past like 10, 15 years that you just think are overrated?
Oh, I got two more to throw on the list.
I know we've talked about you two, and I think all three
and I
all three
was
of us
just
can
going
agree
to
with
say
it,
U2 is definitely one of them for me, and another one is Coldplay.
Oh,
Yeah, same.
I'm
yes.
sorry, but
Yeah.
Coldplay bores the living hell out of me.
You replaced Brian's the new host.
Right? That's what
No,
I'm saying.
it should just their album should be Coldplay music to die by.
Their
Yeah.
first
I mean,
albums
it's
were
just
really good, and then they just sold out. And then like they went like the whole like Springsteen / like fuck it, I'll put Metallica on there. Metallica fucking sucks too, by the way. But like the whole like their music's okay, but their live shows are really good, right?
Dude,
Yeah,
I
that's-
hate that excuse. Like, yeah, you
Why
know
can't
why
they
it's
be
really good?
Black Eyed Peas the same way.
But it's like, you know why it's really good? Because you're probably like kind of drunk.
That's right.
Or like on drugs.
they got a 4/4 that's like dad. You're just like, oh yeah, I could just do this the
Yeah.
whole time.
And then like everyone around you who's way more into him than you are, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, this is okay. It's never okay. It's never okay.
Is there anyone in the past, let's say 10 years, that has come out that you're just like, wow, you guys are fucking awful?
Yeah, just
Besides
about
Taylor
everything.
Swift.
Yeah,
A lot
no,
of people,
there's. I mean, seriously, I don't get a lot of the things that have become incredibly popular.
Okay.
Over the last 10 years, maybe I need to be exposed to it more, presented in a different light. It's. I don't know. There's a sameness to the whininess of the vocal of most of the female vocalists I've heard lately.
God, thank you for saying that.
There is. They're trying to all have this.
Unique
there's this
sound,
same. Where it's got where they pronounce words that aren't.
Well, so
crazy.
I call it the baby talk rappers.
And that's a great.
There's
exactly
a lot of
it.
them that
Yeah.
like try to like nasal up their voice, and like even the other day we're just like listening to some random Spotify playlist, and I think was it Nicki Minaj who
not
came
sure.
on? Yeah, some random female rapper came on. We're like, wait, she's still making music?
Oh no, I think we just saw a picture yesterday. is what
Oh, was it that way? Yeah, and we're just like, holy fuck,
We're
man,
not big
this
fans
is
of like
not
Taylor
good.
Swift.
Yeah,
we can't really stand Taylor Swift.
No, and I can, and totally justifiable. I
Yeah.
understand that completely.
I just hate her pretentiousness.
And also,
That's really what
if you
gets
ever get
me.
a chance, just watch her Tiny Desk concert, and you'll be so annoyed with her.
and I'll get that, but I'll just. I know we're about out of time. All right, but
yeah,
I'll
no,
just
it's
quickly
all
say
good.
I've met her, and it's like being with a Disney princess, and she is truly one of the kindest people I've ever been around in my life.
That's cool.
So
Good for
yeah,
you.
I get the whole thing musically. I just respect the shit out of her as a human.
That's fair.
That's
And
fair.
Yeah.
that's the thing is like that's the hardest thing sometimes with art is that how do you
It's the
separate
separation,
the
yeah.
person and the art?
Oh,
And
absolutely.
respect them, like I don't know, because like I watch your Tiny Desk concert. I'm like, I can't do this. It sounds like an open mic to me.
Yeah, but I still give like after just like how much shit I've talked about Taylor Swift like publicly, I have to give her so much credit for just re-recording her own albums
And saying this
Yeah.
is mine.
and saying like, look, I have the
Yeah.
rights now. Like that was so fucking baller.
No.
What about
it's
Post
true.
So
Malone?
fucking baller.
Post Malone, I wanted to hate.
Yeah,
I really did.
I did
That
too.
is
I
exactly
did
how it
too.
should be. Absolutely.
Yeah, I wanted to hate, but he wouldn't let me let him.
The best-
He wouldn't let me.
The best thing about good musicians nowadays is the fact that you hate them immediately and they give you a reason not to.
No, because he is the exact opposite of what I thought he was.
Yeah.
I mean, he really is, and that's why
Yeah.
it's so important. Look, the cover says something. Read that damn book, man.
Yeah.
A lot of album covers look good, and then the album shit.
Yeah.
So
I think it's also one of those things where I think nowadays in the industry, if you want to make it big, you have to sell out. So you have to do what people want.
Well,
You do to
sell
initially.
out.
You
like
do
Bruno Mars is my
initially.
boy. Like I
He's
hated
one
his
of my
first-
favorites.
Hated his first album, but then after that, he's just kind of like, I'm doing my own thing. Like this is my style. Let's keep it that way.
He's
And,
one
like,
of the artists
yeah.
I would pay to see anytime.
Yeah.
I saw him for his first album, and I hated him when I first saw him.
What was his first? The doo-wop?
Doo-Wops and Hooligans?
Yeah,
Yeah.
doo-wops and hooligans.
I went there because my then girlfriend was like, or my now ex girlfriend, I should say. 'Cause then girlfriend means that I'm married. No, never mind. Sorry. I saw them and she wanted to go see him, and I was like, all right, cool. Like Mayor Hawthorne is opening up for him, so fuck it, let's go. And I came out of there, I'm like, fuck, I'm a fan.
No,
All right,
it's
all
like
right.
James Brown and Prince had a kid, man.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, seriously.
Silk Sonic is the one I want to go to. Do you know who Silk Sonic
Oh,
is?
I absolutely do. I've
Anderson
got the
.Paak?
Anderson Pack. Yeah, no,
Dude,
I've
I
got that
fuck
on
with
my
him so
phone,
hard.
man. That's good shit.
Yeah.
No
Oh
doubt.
man, we're making this episode way longer than it should be, and that's awesome. We're not complaining. I promise you guys, this has been a good episode. Brian, Gary, thank you so much for joining us, man.
My
Yes,
pleasure,
thank you
man.
so much.
We're gonna have more to talk about, so please don't leave. We got
Which means you guys need to stay tuned for next Friday.
next Friday DVD extras is what's gonna happen. Make sure you guys check out Good Morning NoCo on KFKA.
Please do.
1310 and 1031, right?
That is correct.
Gotta remember that.
Nailed it.
Good job.
He remembers numbers better than names.
Yeah. So make sure you guys check it out. You guys are on from, you said 4 hours. starting
Yeah,
from,
6 until
10.
10. 6 until 10 every
That's
weekday.
morning show time.
Yes, it is. Thanks, Chris.
That's awesome, man. Dude, I'm so glad that you're here with us, honestly. We have to bring you back for sure.
Oh, I would love to be back, man. Yeah, there's a lot more topics we can dive into.
We'll make sure, we'll bring a little bit more whiskey, since we almost ran out. It's fine.
Sure, I got one more topic for you for next time.
I like
Can
it.
you separate the music from the artist?
Ooh, that's a good fucking topic.
We have to bring you back now because we can't talk
No,
about that
because
until
I mean,
he comes
there's,
back here.
there's a
can't
whole
talk about it
Michael
now.
Jackson, R. Kelly, and many discussions that could be had on that.
That's fucking fantastic.
We're bringing him back so we can talk about this. We're gonna, wait, Brian Gary, thank you so much, man. Thank you guys again for tuning in. If you guys like what you hear, make sure again you check out Brian Gary on KFKA.
Please do, yeah.
They have a website where it has like all the reruns and things like that, so you can never miss them. Honestly, there's no excuse, people.
No excuse.
What?
And as always, Spotify, iHeart, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, all that fun stuff. But if you're watching this, please like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel.
Jiggle the bell.
And wiggle that bell, please. Wiggle the bell. You forgot jiggle, don't, or wiggle, don't jiggle. All right, guys, we'll see you on Friday. Thanks for hanging out.